Hello, this is my submission for P9 Product Database Management System, and here is my code for the program. Here I have included Splashkit as well as utilities.h. The utilities file includes a function for taking in input. This takes in the prompt it asks the prompt from the user, and then it has a string called result which takes in the inputted value, and then it returns the result to be printed from the user. And then I have the function to convert my input to integer. This checks for input validation if it is an integer, and if it isn't, then it shows an error message, and then when it is fixed, it will return it to the value. I have a similar function for double, and I have a function for range, which checks if the values are in between the minimum and the maximum, and if the values are switched, then it also switches itself. Similar function for range double. Back in the main program, I got a few constants for the maximum array size. These are for the maximum cost and the minimum cost input validation, and also the maximum amount of stock and the minimum amount of stock for input validation. I have a struct data which contains all the values for the shops in the items in the shop, like the name of the item, the cost, how much it's selling for, and the amount in stock. Then I have a struct shop which contains the array data product of maximum, which is 100, and the size is also placed in the struct, and the total profits. Then I have a function for finding the items in the shop. So by taking in the product name, I match the value, and if the product is found, we return the index of the value. If it is not found, we will return -1. This is the function to add a product, void add product. Here we take in the values through reference to and item, which has been initialized in int main. Here we have initialized shop item. So here to add product, we check that the item size, that is the size of the array, is less than the maximum, which is 100. And here we initialize data value, which will have the values for the name, cost, sale, and the stock. And this is then here as add new product, and we'll add in the name of the product, the cost price, the sale price, and the amount of stock. And then we have a write line statement to inform the user that the product has been added successfully. Then in the IPR at item.product, item.size is equal to value. Here we put in whatever value we have created here from data.value, data value, and it will be put on item.size, that is the last index, and the size will be increased by 1. If the size is greater than maximum, then we inform the user that we cannot add products and that they have to remove some products. Then we have a function to print all products. Here we use constant so as to avoid creating or accidentally editing any of the items, because we have passed in a reference. And again, it loops through, and there's information here that shows the user that we're printing the products, and it prints for that ith index for all of them. So according to how many items are present. Then we have print product, which prints a single product according to the index. This is used for finding. It works along with the function in finding. Then we have the function for removing a product. This removes the product. It first checks if the item size is greater than 0. If it isn't, it will ask it will inform the user that there are no items to remove and that they have to add an item first. And if the item size is greater than 0, then it will first print all the products to show the user. It'll call this function print all products and shows the user all the products that they can choose from. And then we'll use a switch case statement through the finding function. After the user finds the product they want to delete, he'll ask them for confirmation by printing out what the product is. After printing the product, it'll ask the user if they want to delete or if they want to cancel deleting. Only after they confirm that they want to delete, then the switch case statement happens, and here it checks if the index is greater than or equal to 0, and it is less than the item size. When the correct product is found, it reduces the item.size by 1, and the other item products will be shifted down by 1. And if the item is not found, then it shows item does not exist. Or if the user has cancelled, it will show cancelled. Then we have the function to update a product. Again, it checks if the item size is greater than 0. If it isn't, it will ask the user to add items first, as there is no items to update. Then again, it prints all the products. It will then use the finding function to find the item, and it will list the item if it has found the item, asking if this is the item that the user wants to update. If it is, it asks for confirmation. On confirming that this is what the user wants to update, there's a switch case statement and a menu which shows what they want to print. Either it's the name, the cost, the sale, or the stock, or if they don't want to update anything. So on choosing an option from 1 to 5 through the range function, which is sanitized input so as to avoid any errors, and then they can either update the name from that specific index, or the cost for that specific index, sale price, or the stock. And once they're done with updating whatever they wanted to update, then they can quit. If they did not want to update that specific item, they can cancel it. Then there is a function for selling a product. Again, it checks if the item size is greater than 0. If it isn't, it will inform the user there is no item to sell and that they have to add an item first. First of all, it prints all the products. Then it shows the statement for selling products. Again, it searches for the product using the finding function. And on finding the item, it will ask the user if this is the item they want to sell. Again, through the range function, they check for if it's the item that they require. If it is not, they can cancel. And using a switch statement, they can, on selecting 0, the item will be sold, and the quantity of the product will be reduced accordingly. It will also show the user that the item has been sold successfully, and it will add up to the total sales as well as the total profit. Then we have the function for printing the status. This also uses constant to avoid any editing in the actual values. And we use count variable and a double variable value. It first checks for the item size being greater than 0. If it isn't, it will reset the values. And when it confirms it is greater than 0, it will check, it'll loop through for as long as it's less than item size, and it'll keep adding the value for the item product cost. This is to get how much the cost price of all the stock is, and it also checks for how many items have stock less than 10 and increases the count accordingly. And this shows all the statuses: the total sales, the total profits, the number of products, as well as the value of stock, and the items with less than 10 stock. Then we have the function for main menu, which is what the user selects. It includes the adding of a new product, deleting a product, updating a product, selling a product, printing all the products, and status, as well as to quit. This is the main function. This is where all the main menu functions are called. Again, here the input is sanitized using the range in function from 1 to 7 according to the 7 options. Case 1 is to add a product, case 2 is to remove the product, case 3 is to update the product, case 4 is selling the product, case 5 is printing all the products, and case 6 prints the status. Case 7 is to quit. This default statement is in case of errors, which is not supposed to be possible because we have sanitized the input. And this is to quit the product. Now we can run the program. As you can see, we have the shop management system. Here we can add a new product, delete the products, update the products, sell the products, print all the products, print the status, or quit the program. And we can choose an option from 1 to 7. If I choose an option 8, it will come up with an error and ask me to choose an option again. If I choose an option -5 or -4, again it will ask the user for the correct input. So here we need to add a new product. First, if I try to delete the product, which is option 2, it'll tell me that there are no items to remove and I need to add an item first. Similar thing will happen if I try to update a product when there are no items present. So again, we'll inform the user that there are no items present to update. Same is for selling a product, no items to sell. If I print all products, it will show that there are no products available. And when I try to print the status, it will show everything is 0. Now, on adding a product, we click on 1, add a product. We can enter the product's name. Here it is a choco. And we can add the cost to be 3.5, the sale to be 4.5, and the stock to be 10. It informs the user the product has been added successfully. If we try to print all products, which is option 5, we can see that there is product 1, its name is choco, cost, sale, and the stock. Now we can update, sell, or print all products or print the status. So right now we can print the status, and here it will show us that there is one product, it is worth $35 because of the 10 stock. Now we can sell the product, which is number 4, and we'll print all the products. We can choose the product by typing in the name. If I type in a wrong name, it'll ask for the function will repeat again. Again, it'll repeat. So just need to type the correct name. Then it'll print out if this is the item that I want to remove, I want to sell, and the cost, the sale price, the stock. Then I can either cancel or I can sell. So here I'll sell the item. The quantity of items that I choose to sell, if I choose 100, it will not work because it's more than what is present because of input sanitation. So here I want to sell out 10, so I click sell, and the item has been sold successfully. Now if I try to sell the same item again for sell product, the product is there, and if I try to type in choco and I want to sell it, I'm not able to sell because the item is not, there is no stock for the item. Now I can either delete the product or update the product stock. So here if I try to delete the product, again it'll print all the products, choose choco, it'll ask me if I want to delete it. If I say delete, the item is deleted, and if I try to print all products, product is not present. Now if I add a product called choco mint that costs $1 and sells for $5.0 and has a stock of 20, and add one more product called vanilla, cost price of 45.6 and sells for 70.9 and has a stock of 31. Now we have two products. Now I want to be able to update one of the products. So I choose option 3, it will print all the products. I can choose the product I want. So here I want to update choco mint. It'll show me item choco mint. I can either update it or cancel it. On updating the item, I can either update the name, cost, sale, stock, or I can quit updating. So I want to update the name to mint. Now the product name has been updated, as you can see there, it's called mint. Now I want to update the cost price to 34.0 and the sale price to 45.6. Now I finished updating and I can quit. Now if I want to print all products, I can click file, and the names have been updated, the prices also have been updated. Now I want to sell some of the products, so I'll go click sell product, print all the products. I want to sell some mint. I want to sell quantity of mint I want to sell is 15. Now I also want to sell the product vanilla, the item confirm, and I want to sell maybe 14. Now on printing the status, we can see that we have a total sale of 1834, total profit of 650, the number of products is 2, the value of stock that we have left is 945, and one item has stock that is low stock, less than 10. Now we can quit the program. Thank you for watching my product demonstration management shop system for P9.